Now is Democratic Senator Bob Casey of Pennsylvania. He has signed on to that letter. He is a member of the Finance Committee, the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, and the National Security Working Group. Senator Casey, good to have you on the show again. Thanks for being with us.
Allie, thanks. Good to be with you.
Senator, what are you planning to accomplish with this letter? Because if the allegations that you and your colleagues are making are true, it's a very, very serious matter.
Yeah, Allie, this is about basic oversight. When you send a letter to any administration, no matter what party you are, no matter what party the administration is, they have to answer it. Now, it doesn't mean they have to answer it within a couple of days or even 10 days, but we would expect that at least within a number of weeks, that letters that we send about, for example, the coal miners' health and pension issue, which we finally made some progress on without any help from the administration, by the way. Letters like that, letters on China, letters on trade, a whole range of letters that involve either important matters to the American people and in many cases matters that are being considered within the committee on which you serve. So if this allegation is true that they've been instructed not to answer, that undermines our system badly.
What's your sense of the legal authority here? I guess you have the right to ask for anything you want as senators. Does the White House have legal standing to tell people not to give you answers?
Well, if they assert a reason why they can't disclose information, then that becomes a dispute. But you can't just ignore requests for information from members of Congress. I do think that part of the problem here, even if there was not a direct order or a policy to obstruct the transmission of this information, and I think that's more likely that's the case than not. But even if that wasn't the case, there is a basic problem with this administration. They don't have people hired to operate the basic functions of many departments, including the State Department, at a time when we need diplomacy and engagement around the world.
Okay, so
I think that's true in other departments.
You're giving them a little
well.
benefit of the doubt, saying they might just be overwhelmed with stuff. Have you guys thought about a plan B in case you don't get an answer?
No, we don't. I don't think there's a plan B. We just have to keep pressuring the administration. I think the American people understand this and would demand that this information be turned over within a reasonable period of time.
Senator, I want to ask you about the Russia investigation. Benjamin Wittes, who's a friend of former FBI Director James Comey, he's a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. He said last night that Comey has a story to tell, and if he were President Trump, he'd be scared. Listen with me.
I thought it was interesting and very telling that he declined an opportunity to tell his story in private. He clearly wants to do it in a public setting, and I interpret...
Right, he was asked to testify in private, and he said no, so now it's going to be public.
Right, and I think that's a reflection of the fact that this is a guy with a story to tell. I think if I were Donald Trump, that would scare me a lot.
All right, vague, because we don't know what that story is. What are you hoping to hear from Jim Comey, who is expected to testify next week?
Well, Allie, certainly when the President of the United States makes statements or assertions that he did regarding the investigation, regarding now former Director Comey, and the only one who can provide information about those charges is Director Comey, I think we need to hear from him for sure. So I think that some of these questions are just hanging out there because the President, on his own, has raised these questions or made these allegations. And it's almost stunning that on a continual basis, we're hearing reporting about the President taking steps to interfere with an investigation or undermining or questioning an investigation. And unfortunately, the bar is not where it should be. The question here is not whether the President or his administration obstructed justice. That's a question that ultimately will have to be answered. But the very contact that he has made with individuals within the administration to slow down or impede the investigation is 100% inappropriate. One single phone call in that direction is totally inappropriate by the President, by a member of Congress, by any public official. And it's almost hard to keep up with the number of allegations that relate to actions taken by him or by his administration that are involved in the investigation.
Senator, always good to talk to you. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Allie.
All right, Senator Bob Casey of Pennsylvania. We're going to